Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro, so glad you could join us. Rolling out hour number 3. By the way, I'm going to have a giveaway in a few minutes here at the end of this segment to the Lee's Discount Liquor 17th Annual Wine Experience. Stay tuned for that. You know, let's change subjects here a little bit because I always like a little bit of comedy, a little bit of levity. And, you know, I watched some of these professional pranksters since I was in high school, right? I love some of these guys. Well, we got these guys called the Good Liars, okay? And they are professional pranksters. And something they did recently has gone viral. And to the anti-Trumpers out there, me being one of them, it's become very popular. They walk into a bookstore. And as you know, Don Jr.'s new book is called Triggered. They changed out all the book covers to Daddy, Please Love Me, replaced them, took pictures of it. It went viral. The guy joining me on the line right now is one of the two. Davron Stiefler and Jason Selvig are the duo that do these professional pranks. And Jason Selvig joins us right now on the line. Jason, thanks for coming on. How are you?
I'm for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So before we get to this actual Don Jr. prank you guys did, I want you to talk a little bit about some of these other political pranks that you've done. It's my understanding when Bill O'Reilly was fired, you held like a little vigil outside of Fox News. This is not the first time you went into the Trump Plaza or in New York City. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you put like a white T-shirt, like a KKK Klan type shirt, replacing the Trump shirts in there. Can you tell me a little bit about some of these other pranks that you've done?
Sure. We did a reverse shoplifting, I guess is what you could call it, in the Trump Tower, where we dropped off things that really, you know, said who Trump was more than like the golf shirts that they had in there. We had like a Trump brand remote control, a Trump brand white hood, which you're talking about there. And then, you know, people, you know, tried to buy them as well. There was postcards that said the first lady was Ivanka Trump. The stuff that Donald Trump really thinks.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. You're telling me people in the store wanted to buy these white Klan Trump shirts?
Well, I don't know if they actually tried to buy the hood, but they definitely tried to buy the postcards for sure.
How long have you been a professional prankster?
DeVrom and I have been doing this since 2011. We started during the Occupy Wall Street protests that were going on here in New York, and we posed as bankers who were protesting the protest, and we called it Occupy Wall Street. And we kept protesting, then we'd have to give up our cocaine habit, lose our season Yankee tickets, and then real investment bankers came down and joined our cause. And we've been doing pranks like that ever since.
Wow. Okay, your phone's a little bit choppy there, but we can hear you now.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. So you go into this bookstore. I want you to tell me where you got this idea. Don Jr., of course, has a new book out called Triggered. So take me through this prank. You know, you're walking into the store. Tell me, you know, from there on what happens.
Well, we didn't want this to be malicious, to be honest. We feel bad for Don Jr. Everything he does, he's trying to impress his dad. It's really sad to watch. He is marrying someone. His girlfriend is a Fox News correspondent who looks a lot like Melania. His dad basically, you know, has never publicly said great things about him.
That's true.
So we thought that maybe after Don saw this, he'd maybe give up on the dream of just trying to impress his dad and try and live his own life. You know, it's a little bit like Logan Roy in and Kendall Roy in Succession.
It was kind of motivational.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted to put a little fire under his belly. Right. I don't think it's worked.
You want to push him in the right direction.
All right. So, Jason, continue with the story. Go ahead.
Sure. So we have the book covers, and we put them in. There was a display in the window, actually, of Barnes & Noble right on the street level in New York, and we put the books out there and then put them in the young adult fiction section, which we thought was a little more fitting than the current event section where they were in.
And describe the cover that you replaced it with.
Sure, it's the same picture that Donald Jr. has on his book Triggered, and it says, "Daddy, please love me." Father. And we didn't change the picture because he looks so sad, like he's really begging for his father's love with his real book cover. We didn't have to change anything. We just kept it the same way.
So how did you make this cover?
Well, the magician never reveals his tricks, but it was very, very easy, and anyone could do it. And if anyone wants to reach out to us on Twitter, The Good Liars, we'll send you a book cover. We can send you the file, or we'll just send it to you at cost.
So what does Barnes & Noble do? I would imagine eventually somebody notices the prank. So what does Barnes & Noble do in that situation?
I'm not sure. We didn't do this to play a prank on the Barnes & Noble's workers. People who aren't making a ton of money and working hard at their jobs in retail. We've all worked retail before, so we weren't trying to prank them. We were trying to prank Don Jr. I assume that they just fixed the books, got rid of them, or probably took them home for themselves.
Well, what I'd like to know is how do I get my hands on that Donald Trump KKK white hoodie that you were that's no. But if you're just joining us, we are speaking with one of the guys from The Good Liars. They are a professional prankster crew. His name is Jason Selvig. It went absolutely viral when they switched out the book cover of the Triggered book by John Jr. with a cover that says, "Daddy, please love me." How many hits did you get on this? How many people actually saw this, do you think?
It was the number one trending story on Apple News on Saturday. And, our retweets were thousands upon thousands. But other people just found the picture and posted it themselves, which is totally fine. We'd love credit when we could get credit, but
Sure.
We understand with a picture, it's going to go viral anyway it goes.
Jason, did Donald Trump Jr. respond to this? Can you tell us, has there been any response from any of the higher-ups, including Don Jr.?
Haven't heard anything yet. We've had personal interactions with Donald Trump himself in the past, but never Donald Jr.
What type of personal interaction have you had with the president?
Well, when he was running, we did a movie called Undecided, which you can get on iTunes and Amazon and all that stuff. Where in one scene in it, we were at a Trump rally and we were playing Trump supporters. We were very close to him. We shook his hand and we led him in cheers, basically. And then after a while, it got boring. Like he keeps talking and talking and talking. So we let him know. We started yelling, "This is boring. This is boring. Tell some jokes. Entertain us." And it was maybe the first time I've seen him actually get hurt on camera because the last thing he wants to do is be boring. So we were let out by security and roughed up a little bit. You can see that online. You can go to goodliars.com. You can see that.
So Trump is giving a speech, and you're there with your coworker, I guess you could say, Davram, right? And you guys are screaming at him, "This is boring. This is boring." And did he react to it at all? Like, what did he do?
At first, he paused and was like, "I couldn't have heard that correct." And we were very close to him, and it was a much more intimate rally. It's not like the big rallies you see now.
Sure.
And then, of course, he kicked us out. And after saying he loved us earlier in the rally, he was saying that we must have a drinking problem because we're yelling that he's boring.
Have you ever had any backlash from any of the political pranks you've done from the actual the prankies themselves?
Absolutely. I mean, we've been roughed up a little bit before in the past, and we actually were arrested one time, but it wasn't for making fun of the president or presidential candidate or even a news personality. It was because we tried to cancel SantaCon. You know what SantaCon is? It's like where a bunch of
Like Comic-Con for Santa costumes. Is that right?
No, I guess maybe it's a regional thing. It's basically like in New York, it's a bunch of people from New Jersey and Long Island come to New York, dress in Santa costumes, and get wasted and throw up all over the place.
We like that.
So it's like St. Patrick's Day for Santa Clauses.
Yeah. Exactly. And everyone in the city hates it. So we tried to cancel it, and we got on a bullhorn. Their started and told them to get on New Jersey Transit and Long Island Railroad, and SantaCon's canceled.
Jason, I want to talk to you a little bit about some of these other pranks you've done, particularly one video I saw which I thought was absolutely hilarious. As you know, shamed Bill O'Reilly, who paid off all these women for alleged sexual misconduct. So when he was let go over at Fox News, you guys held a vigil right in front of the Fox News studios. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Sure. Wait, can I say the word that he the kind of vigil it was?
Okay, go ahead. And I guess if we have to put it on delay, we will. Go ahead.
Okay, great. No, it was called the Bill O'Reilly Douchebag Memorial.
Yeah, we can say that. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, good. Phew. So yeah, we got all sorts of items that Bill would have loved on the day he was fired. And we placed them in a vigil outside of Fox News under his picture. And it was items like a picture of a 1990s model that he would have really liked. Afterwards, we were like, oh, my gosh, we should have left falafel. That would have been so funny because of his famous...
Didn't you have like a pair of boxers? And what are the other stuff you had there at his vigil?
Yeah, we had a pair of boxers because he famously opens the door in his boxers. Gosh, I don't remember this because this is so long ago. You have to tell me what else we did.
It's very funny, though. I watched the video. It is hilarious. So when people say, oh, all you attack is people on the right, have you ever attacked people on the left, Hillary Clinton, maybe, so are you one-sided or do you attack both ways here?
No, we there's everything's pretty funny to us, left, right, center. There's always something to make fun of. During a Hillary Clinton rally, we were standing behind her with shirts that said "Settle for Hillary" on them, and that went viral. Her campaign was upset with us, and then and then we went to another rally, and we were shirtless at the rally, and they ended up putting us in a campaign ad for Hillary Clinton. So we were like,
really?
This is so bizarre. Yeah. And we made fun of Bill de Blasio this last year, the New York City mayor, who had a pathetically horrible run for president. We put up missing posters around New York City for Bill O'Reilly when he was in Iowa, and then we renamed City Hall Iowa in effort for him to come back and actually do his job.
Like, who are some of the pranksters that you grew up watching that you tried to model yourself after? Because there's been plenty before you. Are there people that you watched in high school that you looked up to and said, man, I want to do that?
Obviously, we love Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh, he's the best. Yep.
And we grew up, watching comedy. We would stay up late and watch SNL during the 90s. And Norm Macdonald, the Weekend Update. But also we were both big fans of. Do you remember The State on MTV?
Yes, I do.
Yes. I love those guys and Stella. And obviously they're a little bit crazier, not political at all, but still kind of that silly sensibility kind of comes from those guys. Michael Showalter, David Wayne, Mike Black. Big fans of them.
Sure. So I have a request, okay? We will hang this up in our studio if we're allowed to. I would like to request a copy or just the book cover of Daddy, Please Love Me. I would like you and your partner in crime to sign it to the Vegas Take. And JD, it's fair, right? Can we hang this up in our studio? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Is that a fair request, Jason? Can we make that happen?
That is a fair request, and we would even give it to you with a book attached to it.
Wow.
It won't be Don Jr.'s book, but we will sign it to you guys, Brian and JD.
I love it. Jason, you guys are absolutely hilarious. Regardless of whether you're attacking Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, I think what you guys are doing is very ballsy. It's very funny. And I hope you guys continue doing what you do because, you know, in this state of politics and the divide that we have, we need more people like you. We need more people to have some fun and laugh at just the stupidity and the ignorance of some of our politicians out there, Jason. Before we let you go, I wanted to ask you, when are you guys coming to Las Vegas, man? We'd love to have you in studio.
Well, we might be out at some point in the next couple of months. Maybe sometime around March or so.
We would love to have you come in studio in March, and we'd love to meet you guys. Before we let you go, how can people follow you, plug some of your stuff? How do people go on your website and buy some of your stuff and just support what you guys do? Go ahead and give out that information.
Sure. We've got a Patreon, which is patreon.com/thegoodliars. And if you join the $10 tier, we'll send you a copy of the Don Jr. book. You can also follow us on Twitter at The Good Liars, on Instagram at TGLNYC, and we're on Facebook too, The Good Liars.
I love it. Jason, keep up the good work, my man. We look forward to meeting you guys and you guys coming in studio in a few months. Thanks again for your time.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, JD.
All right.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jason.
His book, Daddy, Please Love Me, will be on shelves very soon at Barnes & Noble. Gosh, those guys are just absolutely hilarious. And look, don't you give me this crap. Oh, you just like him because he's making fun of Donald Trump. You just like him because he attacks our president. No. I think it's just as funny when he goes after Hillary Clinton or Democrats as well. And I am a big fan of Sacha Baron Cohen and Borat and all these other characters that he's played. And his show, Who is America, that was on Showtime, is brilliant comedy as far as I'm concerned. Why is it brilliant? Because we're laughing at the stupidity and the ignorance of people, not just politicians, but just people in general that are dumb. I like to laugh at ignorance, and that's what these types of pranksters do, and I think it's great. Don't be so sensitive. It's funny. And by the way, he's right about everything he said about Don Jr. I have never heard Donald Trump say anything nice about Don Jr. He said a lot of things nice about his daughter, particularly her looks. He said some nice things about Eric. I've never heard him say anything nice about Don Jr., and he's absolutely right. Kimberly Guilfoyle prads around with Don Jr. like she's the mother, and he just wants his daddy's support so badly. So I think it would be I'm going to tell you something. I would have probably bought the book if the cover said, Daddy, Please Love Me, because it would have been the first time Don Jr. had ever been honest in his life. I would have bought the book.